Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a world where martial arts masters wield incredible power, where loyalty is tested at every turn, and grand strategies unfold like intricate, high-stakes chess games.
A world filled with hidden currents and shifting alliances.
Exactly. Today you're joining us for a deep dive into a truly fascinating section from Whispers of the Heart, an anthology of loved echoes, specifically chapters 39 and 40.
Right, these chapters are absolutely packed. They deal with the dramatic, complex aftermath of a major conflict on Mount Hua, which is, a really pivotal location in the martial world, the Jianghu.
Our mission today is to untangle this complex web of betrayals, some really surprising alliances, and a climactic resolution that, honestly, you absolutely will not see coming.
It's really quite something. It goes beyond just swords and sex.
It does. It's like a masterclass in hidden motives, unexpected heroes, and how even the most formidable villains can be undone by the simplest of truths, or sometimes, well, by their own twisted desires.
That's a great way to put it. The psychology is just as important as the swordplay here.
So what does this all mean for our understanding of power, integrity, and that elusive quest for peace in a volatile world like the Jianghu? Let's jump in. We open with our protagonists, Ling Hu Chong and Ren Yingying, thinking they've just escaped one terrifying danger. They've emerged from the depths of a perilous cave.
Probably thinking, okay, finally safe.
Right, you'd think so. But suddenly their world is plunged right back into immediate peril. A black shadow swings overhead like a dark omen, and before they can even fully react, wham, two enormous fishing nets fall from above.
And these aren't just any nets, are they? They're described as seemingly uncuttable.
Exactly. They envelop Ling Hu Chong and Ren Yingying completely, ensnaring them like fish in this powerful, inescapable snare. They try hacking at them with their swords,
Which are usually pretty effective.
but it's totally useless. The material is just too strong, too resilient. This immediate, unexpected capture leaves them completely helpless, bound up, and totally vulnerable.
And then the terror really ramps up as the dark figure pulling the ropes reveals himself. It's a chilling moment.
In a cruel and utterly horrifying twist of fate, it's none other than Ling Hu Chong's former master, Yu Buquan.
Ugh, the ultimate betrayal. His true malevolent nature is now fully, horrifyingly exposed. He's there, pulling the ropes, tightening the nets. You can almost picture the sinister grin.
What's truly chilling here isn't just the physical capture, it's the sheer desperation driving Yu Buquan. His main motivation as he reveals himself. It's pretty dark.
Yeah, he's desperate for the antidote to the three corpses brain-eating pill. Ren Yingying has this antidote, remember, because she was forced to ingest the poison herself.
Right, so Yu Buquan has this ticking clock inside him, this horrific poison. He knows his own life is limited.
Exactly. He'd been waiting for the perfect moment when they were out of the cave, seemingly out of danger, maybe letting their guard down just a little. That's when he springs the trap. Absolute calculation.
It's a moment designed for absolute despair, yet even in this utterly helpless situation, Ling Hu Chong, well, he manages to keep his signature wit.
He does, doesn't he? Even bound and facing death, he's defiant.
Trapped, bound, his life hanging by a thread, he still jokes about dying happily with his beloved wife, Ren Yingying. You get the sense he's hoping, to buy some precious time.
Or maybe hoping for a miracle rescue, like from his reclusive mentor, Wen Qingyang.
Perhaps. He even quips that Yu Buquan, despite everything, truly understands him by keeping him and Ren Yingying tied so closely together. It's quite audacious.
But Yu Buquan isn't playing games anymore. His patience is clearly gone.
Zero amusement. His immediate cruelty is absolute. He silences Lin Hu Chong by striking an acupoint, those vital pressure points martial artists use.
Right, disabling his speech instantly, rendering him completely mute, a terrifying way to silence defiance.
And then, in this awful display of psychological torment, Yu Buquan draws his sword and threatens to kill either Ling Hu Chong or Ren Ying first. Just pure menace. What does this specific kind of betrayal from a mentor do to Ling Hu Chong, beyond just the immediate threat?
Oh, that's such a vital question. It's not just about the danger, right? It fundamentally shatters his worldview. It forces him to question everything he believed about loyalty, honor, the very nature of good and evil in the martial world.
Because this isn't just some random villain.
Exactly.
Right.
Coming from a former master, someone who was supposed to be like a father figure, it feels particularly cutting. It exposes this ultimate corruption of power, how it can twist even the deepest emotional bonds into tools for torment.
And this is where Ring Yingying just shines, doesn't she? Seeing Ling Huchang's silent terror,
Mm.
she steps in.
She does, with this desperate but incredibly strategic gambit. Instead of just cowering, she calmly reveals a crucial detail that instantly changes the whole dynamic.
What does she say?
She tells him she only has 3 antidote pills left.
Only 3. Wow.
Yeah. This throws Yu Bukwan into a total panic, a panicked recalculation. He realizes with this jolt of horror that if he kills them to search for the antidote, he himself would only live for 3 years.
And those 3 years wouldn't end well.
Not at all. They'd end with the grotesque side effect of the poison, the corpse worms consuming his brain. You can almost see his usually steady hands start to tremble. This detail completely transforms his objective. Now he has to think about a transaction in their lives for the antidote formula.
That's a huge psychological blow, especially for someone as vain as Yu Bukwan. But is it just vanity? Or is there something deeper, some insecurity that makes disfigurement so terrifying for him? And how does that fear set up his downfall?
You've absolutely nailed it. It's not just vanity. It's this meticulously crafted self-image he's built up, this mask of righteousness and superiority he wears for the entire Jianghu.
And that mask is his weak spot.
Precisely. Because Ren Yingying, knowing his character inside out, dismisses his offer for a transaction. She taunts him, saying that in 3 years, she and Ling Huchang will be waiting for him at the gates of hell, and he won't even be recognizable because his face will be ruined by the poison.
Ouch, that must have cut deep.
Deeply. And that's when Yu Bukwan makes his most terrifying threat. He draws his sword not to kill immediately, but to disfigure Ren Ying. He threatens to ruin her beautiful face with 17 or 18 sword marks.
Horrifying. He believes this would be worse than death for her.
And a way to maximally torture Ling Huchang, testing his love to the absolute limit.
Seeing Ren Yingying's absolute terror at this prospect, this truly visceral fear of disfigurement, Ling Huchang, even muted and bound, attempts the ultimate act of love.
It's shocking. He reaches up with his own fingers, intending to blind himself.
To make the threat moot, if he can't see her beauty, disfiguring her loses its power over him. It's desperate, selfless.
And incredibly, it's this desperate act that ironically triggers Yu Bukwan's own demise, as Yu Bukwan instinctively reaches out to stop Ling Huchang's self-mutilation.
Because if Ling Huchang is blind, the threat is useless, right? He loses his leverage.
Exactly. As he tries to grab Ling Huchang's hand, their skin touches. Just that simple physical contact intended by Yu Bukwan to stop him unexpectedly triggers a fatal vulnerability in Yu Bukwan himself.
How? What happens?
Ling Huchang possesses the star-sucking great skill. Even unintentionally, just through that contact, he starts draining Yu Bukwan's very life force, his internal energy,
The source of a martial artist's power.
the very essence. Yu Bukwan feels it draining rapidly. He cries out in alarm, his sword arm becomes weak, trembling. He can barely lift his weapon.
It's not just poetic justice.
It's more than that. It's a profound reminder that even the most meticulous plans can be undone by simple human elements. Vanity, desperate instinct, the unexpected ripple effect of past cruelty. True downfall often starts subtly, unraveling from the villain's own twisted core.
And just as Yu Bukwan is weakening, losing his energy,
Sure.
struggling,
Fate delivers the final blow.
in a truly incredible twist, the young nun Yilin appears.
The one whose master, Abbess Dingy, Yu Bukwan murdered.
Exactly. She's been seeking vengeance. She sees him there, poised to strike the weakened Ling Huchang, and without a moment's hesitation, she fatally stabs Yu Bukwan from behind.
Straight through the chest. A swift, decisive end. His long-awaited demise comes not from some grand master in a climactic duel, but from the hand of this gentle nun, a direct, devastating consequence of his past atrocities and his own fatal hubris.
Okay, so Yu Bukwan is finally gone. You'd think, okay, now they can breathe, the immediate danger is over.
You would absolutely think that, but no, this is Metwa, and the chaos just continues. Peace is incredibly fragile here.
So Yilin has just avenged her master, but her triumph immediately turns to horror.
Yeah, she's shocked by her own act of killing. Even though it was arguably justified, the act itself horrifies her. Her hands are trembling so much she's too distraught to even untangle the fishing nets to free Lin Huchang and Ren Yingying.
She's paralyzed by what she's done.
Completely, and before anyone can really process this, another threat bursts onto the scene.
No, now.
Yu Bukwan's accomplice, Lao Danu, lives, sees Yu Bukwan dead, sees Yilin standing there, and immediately attacks her.
While Ling Huchang and Ren Yingying are still trapped.
Still helplessly trapped, he's screaming at Yilin, calling her a murderer of elders, intensifying the fight just when you thought things might calm down.
What's his fighting style like? The outline mentioned it was a mix.
It is, and it's quite telling. He uses a mixed bag of techniques, some from the orthodox Songshan school, where he used to be a disciple, and some from the treacherous Huashan sect, Yubukon school.
A bit of a journeyman betrayer, then?
You could say that. And what's more, he's also kicked up some unrefined, evil-wording swordplay moves, that same art that corrupted Yubukon. He's clearly desperate to try them out.
Does that make him more dangerous?
Ironically, no. It makes him unpredictable, yes. But his eagerness to test these new, poorly learned techniques actually makes his overall fighting style less effective. It's impure, lacking true mastery. But it does provide a tiny window.
For our heroes,
Aha.
even tied up.
Yes, because Ren Yingying, even bound, proves her ingenuity is far from trapped. She exhibits incredible quick thinking.
What does she do?
She manages to use a hidden short sword, must have had it concealed somewhere, which tells you something about her preparedness.
Always ready.
Always. She uses it to somehow reach Ling Huchang and unseal his acupoint.
Giving him back his voice and movement.
Exactly. And Ling Huchang, ever the clever strategist, uses that regained ability immediately. He distracts the experienced, but maybe somewhat one-track-minded Lao Danu.
Wow.
He shouts about a monkey, specifically Sixth Junior Brothers monkey, urging it to bite the evil thief who killed its master.
Ah, a callback. Lao Danu killed the 6th Huashan disciple, Lu Deyu, who loved his pet monkey.
Precisely. It's a subtle but incredibly pointed reference to Lao Danu's past crime. That momentary distraction, just a flicker of shock, maybe at hearing his past sin invoked, or maybe even the absurd thought of a monkey attacking it's enough.
Enough for what?
Enough for Ling Huchang to use the very fishing net rope that had bound them to trip Lao Danu. Brilliant. Turning the trap against the attacker.
That's clever. So does Yilin finish him off then?
Well, this leads to a moment of unexpected mercy, actually. Yilin does wound Lao Danu with her sword, but her innate kindness, her moral compass, stops her from delivering a fatal blow.
Even after he attacked her.
Even then, her sword glances off his shoulder instead of hitting his head, breaking his collarbone. This allows him to recover enough to scramble up and flee down the cliff, escaping a worse fate, though definitely in pain. It really highlights her compassionate nature.
But just as they're processing that chaotic escape, things get even weirder.
Oh, yes. Enter the next layer of chaos, the arrival of Buji Monk and Yilin's mother.
Wait, the mother who was pretending to be deaf and mute earlier?
The very same. Now dramatically revealed as Yilin's mother, this surprising duo adds another layer of unpredictable, almost farcical energy to the scene.
And the mother. She's not exactly helpful, is she?
Not initially. True to her eccentric nature, she actually helps Lao Danu escape, deliberately. Just despite Ling Huchang, who had urged her to stop him, she has this mischievous, almost petulant streak.
Unbelievable. So how do they finally get free?
It's in this bizarre distraction. Ling Huchang subtly uses her sudden focus on him. He cleverly calls out for the Peach Valley Six Immortals, this group of chaotic characters she really fears and dislikes.
Playing on her own quirks.
Exactly. While she's distracted by that, he finally manages to free himself and Ren Yingying completely from the nets. It's a masterclass in taking advantage of chaos, a real display of his adaptive thinking.
Finally free. But there's a moment mentioned about Ling Huchang seeing Yubukon's body.
Yes, and it's really important. If we connect this to the bigger picture, his emotional reaction is key. A profound sadness washes over him, despite everything Yubukon did.
Even after the betrayal, the cruelty.
Even then, it really underscores the deeply complex, almost unbreakable bond of a master-disciple relationship in this world. It transcends simple good and evil. He lost someone who was like a father. Even if that father became a monster, it speaks volumes about the enduring nature of those early bonds, even when they're irrevocably broken.
Okay, you'd think after escaping Yubukon, dealing with Lao Danu, finally getting free, maybe now they can catch their breath.
You would hope, but no. Just as they do, the very mountain seems to tremble. You hear it before you see it, the arrival of a new, even more formidable power.
And this is where the true strategic genius, or maybe sheer madness of the martial world, really erupts.
Absolutely. This is Ren Wuxing making his grand entrance.
What kind of spectacle are we talking about here? What does it signal for the Jianghu?
It's pure theater of power, a complete transformation of the scene. The Sun Moon sect, under Ren Wuxing's command, arrives with immense pomp and ceremony.
Like how events?
Think loud drums thundering across the peaks, horns blaring, and thousands of followers, maybe 2 to 3,000 strong, marching in perfect unison.
And they're chanting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Chanting this slogan over and over. Thousand Autumns, unify the Jianghu, revered leader Ren, revive the sacred sect, may your lifespan rival heaven.
Unify the Jianghu. That sounds ominous. Just to
Right.
clarify for listeners, Jianghu is the term for the whole martial arts world, right? All the sects practitioners.
Exactly. And this display, it's not just noise, it's a clear, unmistakable summons for the 5 great sects, what's left of them, to meet Ren Wuxing at Chaiyang Peak. It signals his absolute intent to dominate the entire martial world under his iron fist. The sound echoes everywhere, utterly intimidating anyone who might dare defy him.
This brings up a question, though. Why were so many martial artists from the other Orthodox sects missing? It felt like there should have been more resistance, or at least more people around.
That's a crucial observation. And we get a piece of the puzzle from a very unexpected and, frankly, quite eccentric source.
Oh, not the Peach Valley Six again.
Not this time. It's a character named Tian Boguang.
Tian Boguang. Wasn't he kind of a sleazy character earlier on?
He was, yes, known for being quite lascivious. But now, surprisingly, he reveals this uncanny, almost supernatural ability. Ling Hu Chang jokingly calls it his heavenly nose skill.
His nose skill, what does he do?
He can apparently smell the presence of women from a great distance. And not just that, he can even differentiate between nuns and laywomen by their scent. He makes this crude distinction between perfume and natural body odor.
Bizarre.
Bizarre, but effective.
Incredibly effective, as it turns out, because this unique skill leads them to a hidden underground cave.
And what do they find there?
They discover over 30 Hangshan disciples trapped inside, including senior figures like Yihei, Yiqing, Zhang Yi, Qin Huan, all imprisoned, drugged, and near death.
Oh my God, who trapped them?
If not for Tian Boguang's truly unusual talent, they would have perished within a day or two.
So the implication here is profound. It unveils a much deeper, more meticulous scheme. Ren Ying explains it, right? This connects back to Yu Buquan.
Exactly. It connects directly back. Ren Ying explains that Yu Buquan's earlier plot luring and eliminating rival sect leaders like Zhuo Langshan and Moda in the Mount Hua Caves, promising secret sword arts.
And then capturing these key Hangshan disciples was not just a series of impulsive acts. It was a meticulously planned, long-term strategy. Yu Buquan was systematically removing all potential rivals to consolidate his power as the sole leader of the 5 great sects. He planned to do it through cunning and subterfuge, not just open battle.
But he died before he could finish it.
Precisely. His death, however, ironically cleared the path. It left this massive power vacuum. And Ren Wuxing, he was more than ready to step in and fill it with his even grander, more audacious ambitions. Yu Buquan basically removed all the primary obstacles for him.
So Yu Buquan's elaborate scheme, undone by his own hubris and Yi Lin's blade, actually paved the way for an even bigger threat.
It's a perfect example of how plans unravel, how the Jianghu is constantly shifting. One tyrant falls, another rises, often benefiting from the chaos left behind.
Okay, so the scene shifts dramatically. We're now at the imposing Chaiyang Peak. Ren Wuxing is ready to assert his dominance over the entire martial world.
The tension must be palpable.
You'd think Ling Hu Chang, kind of adrift without a solid sect home, might be tempted by the sheer power being offered here. But he consistently surprises us, doesn't he?
He really does. His strength isn't just in his sword arm, it's his character.
When they arrive at the peak, the welcome is grand, almost over the top. Shang Wentian, who is a respected figure in the Sun Moon sect, but also a genuine friend to Ling Hu Chang.
Right. Their relationship is complex but real.
He greets them warmly, even holds Ling Hu Chang's hand. This immediately shows Ren Wuxing's high regard for Ling Hu Chang. He clearly sees him as a potential, incredibly valuable asset.
And Ren Wuxing himself. His posture is pure imperial command. He's sitting on a grand tutor chair, but not just anywhere it's placed atop this massive natural stone pillar called Immortal's Palm.
Talk about symbolism, literally looking down on everyone.
Absolutely. He tries to establish this familial connection right away, almost calls Ling Hu Chang son-in-law before catching himself and saying virtuous brother, signaling his approval of the marriage to his daughter, Ren Yingying.
And then comes the big offer.
Delivered with absolute finality, Ren Wuxing directly offers Ling Hu Chang the position of vice leader of the Sun Moon sect, and of course, marriage to Ren Yingying. It's immense power, influence, and family, all tied up in one package.
Even the seating arrangement is a power play, isn't it?
Oh, completely. A masterstroke of psychological manipulation. Heng Shan's seat, Ling Huchang's adopted sect, is placed prominently at the head of the gathering above the others. It subtly acknowledges his unique standing.
While diminishing the others.
Exactly. The seats for the deceased leaders of rival sects like Songshan, Taishan, even the previous Heng Shan leader, they're placed last, almost like an afterthought. It's a carefully choreographed display of who's on top now.
It's an almost irresistible offer of personal happiness, unparalleled power. But Ling Huchang is struggling internally.
He is. Physically, he's experiencing severe pain from his star-sucking great skill. It flares up when his emotions are strong, which they definitely are right now. It's this debilitating side effect from absorbing all those different internal energies without the proper counter method.
And emotionally.
Emotionally, he's torn, but mostly he feels this deep, profound disdain for the sycophantic atmosphere, the fawning, the flattery surrounding Ren Wuxing. He finds it utterly nauseating, a betrayal of the true martial spirit he values.
So despite the pain, despite the incredible offer, he refuses.
Unwaveringly, he firmly rejects joining the Sun Moon sect. He cites his sacred loyalty to Heng Shan, the promise he made to the deceased Abbess Dingxian. He declares loud and clear that he cannot betray their trust. His word is his bond, even facing the most powerful man in the Jianghu.
That takes incredible guts. Integrity versus raw power.
Absolutely. It's Ling Huchang's defining characteristic. His principles are unyielding, even when it's painful or dangerous. But then he does something else.
What's that?
In a stroke of both defiance and genuine love, he makes a crucial, separate proposal. He boldly asks for Ren Yingying's hand in marriage independently of joining the sect.
Oh, separating love from politics.
Yeah.
Drawing a line.
Exactly, a clear separation of personal love from political allegiance. And to everyone's shock, maybe even Ren Wuxing, after this tiny pause, agrees to the marriage.
He agrees, even though Ling Huchang refused the vice leader position.
He agrees. This shocks everyone. It reveals a hidden layer to Ren Wuxing's cunning. Maybe he still sees a way to use Ling Huchang, or perhaps he genuinely respects the integrity, even as he plans to crush it.
But Ren Wuxing's vanity is definitely bruised by the refusal to join.
Oh, for sure. He masks it with this show of controlled fury. He threatens to attack Heng Shan within a month, vowing to leave not even a dog or chicken alive on their mountain, a chilling threat.
How does Ling Huchang react to that?
Again, defiance. In this powerful, silent display of loyalty, he drinks with his friends Zhu Qiquangli, Ji Wuxi, Lan Fenghuang.
The ones who know the danger of crossing Ren Wuxing.
Exactly. Despite the clear danger, they publicly toast Ling Huchang. It's this moment of pure, unadulterated friendship and courage, a defiant ripple in Ren Wuxing's carefully controlled spectacle.
But here's where it gets really interesting, right? Ren Wuxing's anger. It wasn't entirely real.
Not at all. This is where his true genius, or profound cunning, is revealed through his private thoughts, laid bare in the text. His anger was largely a performance, a calculated act.
So what's his actual objective? Not Heng Shan?
No, his real objective isn't Heng Shan at all. It's Shaolin and Wudang, the two remaining great orthodox sects that genuinely threaten his total dominance.
So the threat against Heng Shan is?
A feint, a smokescreen. It's designed to draw the Shaolin and Wudang forces to Heng Shan in a heroic rescue effort.
Leaving their own home bases vulnerable.
Precisely. Leaving their own formidable, traditional strongholds open to a surprise attack from Ren Wuxing's main force.
Yeah.
He plans intricate ambushes, landmines. It's a multi-layered deception, a trap within a trap.
Wow. And the toasts. The public defiance from Ling Huchang's friends.
Even more manipulative, Shang Wentian later reveals that Ren Wuxing himself orchestrated those toasts. He wanted Ling Huchang to refuse publicly.
Why would he want that?
Because it enhances Ling Huchang's perceived heroism. It makes his principled stand seem utterly genuine to the outside world, which, ironically, makes Ren Wuxing's whole deception, the feint against Heng Shan, even more believable. He's leveraging individual integrity for his own tyrannical ends. It's truly Machiavellian.
In his private thoughts, what do they reveal?
Profound, almost terrifying megalomania. He genuinely believes he's superior to legendary historical figures. He thinks Confucius couldn't fight, Guan Yu was just brute force, even Zhu Ziliang's strategies wouldn't hold up against his swordplay.
He thinks he's unstoppable.
Completely. He sees his power and strategic intellect as unmatched, believing he can effortlessly sweep aside everyone to achieve his vision. Thousand Autumns, unify the Jianghu. It's not just ambition, it's this delusion of grandeur fueling his ruthless, intricate schemes, a classic case of unchecked power breeding dangerous self-aggrandizement.
So Ling Chang and the Hengshan disciples head back, reeling from Ren Wuxing's chilling threat. They're expecting absolute annihilation.
The mood must be incredibly grim, just utter despair.
It is. They believe resistance against the Sun Moon sect's overwhelming might is completely futile. So the Hengshan disciples actually stop all martial arts practice.
They just give up.
They even abandon guard posts, essentially accepting their fate. They feel it's pointless to even try, knowing they'll be crushed by Ren Wuxing's forces.
That's bleak. But when all hope seems truly lost, help arrives.
Exactly. Unlikely saviors and a truly audacious plan begin to unfold. Just when things look darkest, ingenuity and alliance spark this flicker of defiance.
A dramatic shift. Who arrives?
None other than Feng Zhang, master of Shaolin, and Changzhu Daoist of Wudang. Two of the most revered and powerful martial artists in the entire Jianghu. They arrive with their elite disciples. Wow. Shaolin and Wudang joining forces. How did that happen? Was it just Ren Wuxing's threat?
It turns out Ling Huchang's reclusive mentor, Wen Qingyang, is secretly behind it.
Wen Qingyang again, working from the shadows.
Always. He sent the eccentric Peach Valley Six Immortals to Shaolin as messengers.
The Peach Valley Six as messengers. How did that even work?
Haha. Well, despite their confusing and rambling way of speaking, they somehow managed to convey the urgent message. They warned Shaolin about Ren Wuxing's true intentions, the feint against Hengshan, and also commended Ling Huchang's defiance at Chaoyang Peak. It shows how even chaos can sometimes deliver crucial information.
Amazing. And this alliance brings more than just fighters, right? There's something for Ling Huchang's condition.
Yes, absolutely crucial. Fang Zheng transmits a powerful internal energy cultivation method to Ling Huchang.
The one to counter the star-sucking great skill.
Exactly. The method was secretly relayed from Wen Qingyang. It promises to counter those debilitating effects, the clashing energies that were causing him so much pain and weakness. This is vital for his survival and his ability to fight. It's like a secret weapon for his own body.
So now they have allies, and Ling Huchang might be getting stronger.
Yeah.
But how do you stop Ren Wuxing's thousands of troops and his cunning plan?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you stop this seemingly invincible force? The answer devised by Fang Zheng and Changzhu is, well, it's a combination of artistry and extreme danger.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
An assassination plot centered on a magnificent chair.
A chair? Seriously?
Seriously. Changzhu reveals their secret weapon, a truly opulent nine-dragon treasure chair. It's a Grand Tudor chair, exquisitely adorned with golden dragons and imperial phrases like "Thousand Autumns, unify the Jianghu," the very slogan Ren Wuxing loves.
Crafted by Wudang artisans.
Yes, specialized artisans. The chair is designed specifically to appeal directly to Ren Wuxing's immense vanity and megalomania, to be irresistible to him.
Okay, so bait for his ego. But how is it a weapon?
It's not just beautiful, it's a death trap. It's booby-trapped with a delayed fuse.
A fuse connected to what?
Connected to an astonishing 20,000 caddies, that's roughly 22,000 pounds, or 10,000 kilograms of incredibly powerful explosives, buried directly beneath the temple floor where Ren Wuxing is expected to sit and hold court.
20,000 caddies. That would level the whole peak.
Pretty much. The psychological lore is key. The opulent design, the imperial symbols. They're intended to ensure he sits on it and crucially stays there, even if he's initially suspicious. It's a trap exploiting his greatest weakness, his ego.
What about the fallout? How do the Allies plan to survive that blast?
They have a meticulously calculated escape route. If the bomb is triggered, the Allied forces plan to retreat using ropes down the treacherous cliffs into a deep valley below. It would make pursuit almost impossible for any Sun Moon sect survivors.
And there's more.
Oh yes. As a final, brutal layer of defense, 32 powerful landmines are strategically placed on the mountain's 8 main paths.
Landmines.
Designed to cut off retreat for the Sun Moon sect and starve out any remaining forces if the main explosion succeeds in killing Ren Wuxing. It's comprehensive, brutal, incredibly audacious, born of pure desperation.
It really shows how far even the orthodox sects are willing to go when facing tyranny. Raises that question, doesn't it? Do the ends justify these means?
It certainly does. Survival is on the line.
But even in these extreme circumstances, Ling Huchang, he holds true to his code.
He does, despite the immense stakes, the fate of his sect, his friends. He agrees to the plot only if it doesn't involve him personally using any deception or lies.
He'll fight, he'll support the trap, but he won't trick Ren Wuxing with false words.
Exactly. He adheres to his principles of righteousness even when faced with overwhelming evil. It shows his integrity isn't a weakness, it's his unshakable foundation. a powerful statement about staying true to yourself amidst the chaos.
Okay, the stage is set, the trap is laid, the air must be thick with tension. Ren Wuxing's forces arrive at Hengshan.
Everyone expecting a bloodbath.
But they arrive not with swords drawn for battle, but with this bizarre, almost theatrical display of pomp and ceremony. What on earth is going on?
It's completely unexpected. The procession is elaborate, huge banners unfurling, a full orchestra playing this strange, discordant music, different colorful divisions of the Sun-Moon sect. It looks more like a diplomatic visit than an invasion.
But then Ling Huchang sees something horrifying.
Yes, he's appalled to see revered martial artists like Zhu Qiangqi and Ji Wuxi, the very friends who toasted him in defiance earlier.
What's happened to them?
They are being forced to carry Ren Wuxing's sedan chair, like common laborer.
Oh, that's brutal. A stark public symbol of Ren Wuxing's tyranny.
Yeah.
Utter humiliation. Psychological warfare.
Exactly. And Ling Huchang makes another chilling observation that fills him with dread.
What's that?
He notices that all the Sun-Moon sect members are wearing white sashes.
The traditional sign of mourning.
Right. His immediate heart-stopping fear is that Ren Yingying, caught between her tyrannical father and him, has taken her own life in despair, unable to bear the conflict. It's a powerful moment of vulnerability for him.
And just as the tension is absolutely unbearable, a near disaster happens, but in a chaotic, almost funny way.
It's pure absurdity. The eccentric Peach Valley Six Immortals.
Right.
Somehow they've wandered into the temple, undetected amidst all the grandeur.
You cannot make this stuff up. What do?
They start fighting, loudly, over who gets to sit on the enticing 9-dragon treasure chair.
Subam chair.
The bomb chair. Imagine the sheer chaos. These 6 bizarre brothers, completely oblivious to the grand schemes and the tons of explosives beneath them, are squabbling and pushing, almost triggering the hidden fuse prematurely.
That would have been catastrophic. Everyone on the peak, gone.
Instantly. Allied forces, Sun-Moon sect, everyone. A truly ironic, devastating end to such an elaborate plan.
So how is it stopped?
Fortunately, Feng Zhang Master acts swiftly. He uses his powerful Diamond Zen Lion's Roar, a supreme Shaolin internal energy technique. He enters the temple, lets out this single, thunderous shout, and it instantly renders the Peach Valley Six unconscious. Chengzhu then quickly secures them and checks the chair, relieved to find the fuse is still intact.
Phew. It really highlights the unpredictable nature of this world, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even a master strategist like Ren Wuxing couldn't account for random weirdness like the Peach Valley Six.
Exactly. You can plan for enemies, but how do you plan for pure, unadulterated chaos?
So with that crisis averted, Ren Wuxing requests to meet Ling Huchang alone in the temple.
Just the two of them.
And what follows is this unprecedented exchange of gifts that completely baffles everyone.
Right. Ren Wuxing starts handing out these incredible treasures.
Like what?
To Feng Zhang of Shaolin, he presents an ancient agar wood rosary and a rare Sanskrit copy of the Diamond Sutra, something Feng Zhang deeply desired. To Chengzhu of Wudang, he returns the long-lost true martial sword and the original Tai Chi fist scripture, priceless artifacts stolen from Wudang decades ago.
Wow. Returning stolen treasures, that's huge. What about Ling Huchang?
For Lim Huchang, strangely, he offers exquisite but surprisingly ordinary daily items. Robes, shoes, tea bowls, a liquor flask, a jade flute, an ancient zither. Nice things, but not legendary artifacts like the others received.
And for Hengshan itself.
New clothes, new swords, and a vast tract of land. Generous, but again, different in nature.
And after this very strange gift-giving,
Ren Wuxing and his entire force simply withdraw. Peacefully. No conflict, no battle. A completely unexpected turn after all the threats and tension. Everyone must have been utterly bewildered.
so what was really going on? How does the truth come out?
Well, what's truly fascinating here is how the real truth is revealed, not by the main characters in some dramatic confession.
Let me guess. The Peach Valley Six.
You got it. The most chaotic, least reliable source imaginable. Once Feng Zhang releases them from their acupoints, their incessant, uninhibited babbling inadvertently blurts out the full, shocking truth.
Which?
Ren Wuxing was already dead.
What? When did he die?
He had died shortly after leaving Shaoyang Peak, back after the confrontation with Ling Huchang.
How?
It turns out his elaborate plotting, the immense internal energy he expended to forcefully suppress his own star-sucking great skill, combined with the long years of suffering from that brain-eating pill poison, it had simply exhausted his life force. He pushed himself too far, literally plotted himself to death.
That's the real bombshell. So the whole arrival at Hengshan, the gifts, that wasn't Ren Wuxing at all.
Nope. Ren Yingying had already taken over as the new leader of the Sun Moon sect.
So the white sashes.
Were indeed a sign of mourning, but for her father, not for her own suicide, as Ling Huchang feared. It completely reframes everything.
Wow. So the gifts. The peace offering.
That was all Ren Yingying. It wasn't some capricious act by a dying tyrant. It was her genuine attempts to forge alliances and make amends with the Orthodox sects. She strategically used her deceased father's name, continuing the charade.
To maintain face.
Yeah.
And avoid immediate conflict during the power transition.
Exactly. It was a brilliant, compassionate, and incredibly shrewd move. It bought her time and garnered goodwill from the very sects her father had sworn to destroy. It really shows her unique blend of ruthlessness, inherited perhaps from her father, but tempered with her own benevolence.
And there's one more revelation, isn't there? About Ling Huchang's healing.
Yes, the final piece of the puzzle. Ren Yingying reveals the shocking truth about the internal energy method he learned, the one that healed him from the star-sucking great skills effects.
It wasn't from Wen Qingyang directly?
No! It was actually Shaolin's legendary Yi Jin Jing, the muscle-shifting scripture, one of the most powerful internal martial arts in the Jianghu.
Shaolin's technique. But Ling Huchang refused to learn from them.
Precisely. So it was secretly transmitted to him via Wen Qingyang and Fang Zhang. They cleverly used Wen Qingyang as an intermediary, knowing Ling Huchang would accept guidance from his revered grand uncle.
So they bypassed his stubborn refusal.
They did, healing him without him ever knowing he'd received help from the very sect he was so adamantly against learning from. This entire sequence of revelations just reshapes everything, showing layers upon layers of hidden truths and brilliant manipulation, not just by villains, but by unexpected allies, too.
Okay, so with the dust finally settled, the grand schemes unraveled, the truth revealed, the story moves towards its conclusion.
And it's a conclusion that feels earned, moving towards harmony after so much conflict.
3 years later, Ling Huchang and Ren Yingying marry. The ceremony is described as beautiful, harmonious, held at Maizhuang by Westlake. It feels like it symbolizes more than just their love.
It really does. It feels like a symbol for a potential new era for the Jianghu, one built on this unexpected unity rather than constant sectarian division.
And we see a passing of the torch, don't we? Ling Huchang steps down as Heng Shan leader.
Yes. Ever the wanderer at heart, he appoints Yi King, one of the nuns, who he felt was more suited to the administrative and spiritual leadership the sect needed. He wasn't cut out for settling down in that role.
And Ren Ying makes an even bigger move.
Huge move. It shocks the entire Jianghu. She abdicates her position as leader of the Sun Moon sect.
Who takes over?
She passes it to Shang Wentian, her trusted ally. He's still formidable, but proves to be a more benevolent and less tyrannical leader than her father. This brings a much-needed, if perhaps fragile, peace to the tumultuous martial world. It's a clear shift away from Ren Wuxing's vision of absolute dominance.
Towards something more balanced, maybe?
Hopefully. And at their wedding, they perform the titular song of the entire saga, The Smiling Proud Wanderer, together.
Ling Huchang on the zither, Ren Yingying on the jade flute.
It's not just music, it's profoundly symbolic. It represents their successful bridging of those traditional sectarian divides, the orthodox versus the unorthodox. It fulfills the original message of the song's composers,
Lu Zhengfeng of Heng Shan and Kuai-Ying of the Sun Moon sect,
who tragically died for their cross-faction friendship earlier in the story. Ling Huchang and Ren Yingying's union, their music, it symbolizes hope. Hope that differences don't have to lead to destruction, that they can harmonize into something beautiful.
And there's a quiet blessing too, right, from Moda.
Yes, a beautiful, subtly poignant moment. Moda, the reclusive Heng Shan leader long thought dead, appears briefly. He plays his melancholic erhu just outside the wedding hall.
Not joining in, just playing nearby.
Exactly. His sorrowful but beautiful melody confirms his survival and offers this deeply personal, silent blessing to their union. A quiet acknowledgement from one of the last remaining elders of the old guard. It's bittersweet, the passing of an era, but also quiet approval of this new, unconventional path.
And finally, Ren Yingying reveals what happened to Lao Danu, that treacherous accomplice of Yu Duquan. It's described as a peculiar, darkly humorous, and entirely fitting form of care.
Oh yes, the ultimate poetic justice for Lao Danu. Ren Yingying reveals that after he escaped, he tried to secretly practice the evil warding swordplay himself, that same dangerous, corrupting art.
Did it work for him?
No, he completely mispracticed it, likely due to his impatience or lack of guidance, and accidentally ruined his own martial arts completely. Rendered himself powerless.
Karma, perhaps, but what's the care part?
as a unique and utterly fitting punishment, and Ren Yingying explicitly says it's in tribute to Ling Huchang's murdered junior, Lu Deyu, the one who cherished his pet monkey.
The monkey Ling Huchang mentioned to distract Lao Danu.
The very same. Ren Yingying had Lao Danu chained to 2 large macaques on Mount Hua for the rest of his life.
Chain the funkies.
Yes. Constantly tormented by them, dragged around, scratched, bitten. It's her special way of taking care of a friend, as she puts it, dripping with sarcasm, but also her unique brand of justice.
That's inventive and incredibly cruel.
It is, but far from a swift death, it's designed as a living hell, a constant ironic reminder of his betrayal and Lu Deyu's fate. It's perfect poetic justice for his vile deeds, emphasizing that sometimes the true punishment isn't death, but a life of eternal, fitting torment.
Wow, what a deep dive that was. We started in this world of high-stakes martial arts, absolutely filled with betrayals, grand ambitions, hidden plots.
A real roller coaster through the Jianghu.
We saw how even the most cunning villains, like Yu Buquan and Ren Wuxing, can be undone by the unexpected, by hubris, by exhaustion, by simple twists of fate.
And how loyalty, love, and sometimes just sheer unconventional thinking like Ling Huchang's can truly change the course of an entire world.
So let's pull out some key takeaways from this. First, it really highlights the complex interplay of power and personal relationships. Individual choices, promises made, betrayals felt, they profoundly impact these grand schemes and the fate of whole communities.
Yeah, absolutely. And we definitely saw the blurred lines between good and evil in this world of factions. Supposed heroes can be utterly corrupt like Yu Buquan, while figures from the demonic sect like Ren Yingying or even Zhang Wentian later can show surprising compassion and integrity. It challenges easy labels.
It's also a powerful testament to how crucial information and hidden truths can be. Even when blurted out by accident, thank you, Peach Valley 6, that hidden knowledge can completely unravel the most elaborate and sinister schemes. Secrets rarely stay buried forever.
True. And finally, the narrative really suggests that enduring peace might not come from total domination, like Ren Wuxing sought. It might come from mutual respect, finding common ground, and forming unlikely alliances, symbolized so beautifully by Ling Huchang and Ren Yingying performing the Smiling Proud Wanderer song together.
A powerful message. Okay, here's a final provocative thought for you, our listener, to mull over. This deep dive shows us how the most impactful shifts often happen behind the scenes. They're driven by personal connections, individual choices, hidden vulnerabilities, maybe even accidental revelations, rather than just brute force or grand public pronouncements. So thinking about your own life, your own Jianghu, what seemingly small or hidden truths might be quietly reshaping your world right now?